Welcome to HR.com Live. This podcast is produced by HR.com, the #1 destination to help 1.7 million HR executives maximize human potential and drive extraordinary business results.
Good afternoon and welcome to HR.com Live. My name is Dr. Patti Fletcher and I am the Chief Advocate and HR Disruptor here at HR.com. And I am on a mission to disrupt the business of people at every level in every function of the workplace. And lucky for you, I'm going to be your host today. In this episode, we'll be talking with Shrikant about disrupting your cradle-to-grave HR strategy. You know it's way past time, HR, and I can't wait to dive into this topic. And Shrikant is the perfect person to talk to about this topic. He brings over 20 years of experience in leading software engineering, sales, and marketing teams in various capacities. And he successfully developed software products for companies ranging from small startups to large Fortune 100s. Currently, Shrikant is the president of Harbinger Systems and the lead architect of Harbinger Offline Content Player. That's a component that helps learners to download and view e-learning courses. And now back to our discussion on disrupting your cradle-to-grave HR strategy. Shrikant, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Patty. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. And this is quite the topic, Shrikant. It's been an ongoing conversation for a long time, and yet very little's been done about it, right? And this is ripe for disruption, ripe for HR and transformation. The problem is those words all become buzzwords at this point. Can you talk to us a little bit about what this actually means when we say this is about HR transforming?
Yeah, what I feel is if you look at the next 15 to 20 years in the organization's history or any organization's history, they have to transform so rapidly because technology is changing so fast, especially organizations which are more than 1,000 employees or more. They have to take their employees consistently, and every 3 to 5 years, things are changing. So HR needs to play a very, very crucial role in disrupt. So if they are well aligned with the organization strategy, I think the process is going to be much more smoother and faster. And HR overall needs to take more ownership about transforming employees and not leave it to just the leadership or the other parts of the, be a lagger, if you will, but be a leader and part of that and be an actual catalyst in the overall transformation journey. So, and that can be done if they actually, become more technology aware and they're more tech savvy and they don't only depend on their partners and the vendors for all the information. So they have to take the lead. That's what I feel.
Right. So it sounds like you're saying, look, HR, it's time to drive this bus, right? Don't just sit in the passenger seat. And that requires this whole cradle to grave thing, right? It's very much was a one size fits all. You and I get that. We understand that there is a scale thing, but times have changed. And particularly around, look, I want as a worker something that appeals to me, that's based on me, that gets me from where I am to where you want me to be, company, right? And so can you talk to us a little bit about some of the personalization trends, particularly around bringing new people on board and then being able to upskill them in the right ways?
Yeah, Patty, that's a great point. And I think there is one thing that is very important, and we all know that today people join organizations, they are not looking for lifetime to be spent in the organization. They are looking at probably 3 years, 5 years, and what they can achieve in that space. Also, what many organizations seeing is that they are not only dependent on the full-time employees. There's a large volume of contractors, and they're doing very important roles in the company. So what HR needs to make sure is that they have onboarding programs, they have learning management programs, or learning reskilling programs specifically targeted to each and every job role. They cannot look at, we have one single system which will cater to everybody in the organization. And they need to make sure that every 2 to 3 years, as the organization is changing, the new people are coming on board, how new tools can be brought in seamlessly. So they need to consider their big investments as almost like platforms, and then build small applications and new innovative solutions, both in terms of processes as well as technology, so that they can really transform and change as the industry demands, and keep the workforce highly productive and highly engaged. So those things
It's
are what
important.
we are looking for.
Yeah, and you said something that is so critical that I really want to call out, and that is when you set up systems for people who you intend to have them start at a young age and leave when they retire, right? There's this it's just a totally different mindset versus I have got to capture and engage and enable this person to be productive for the amount of time they're here. And looking at the way the workforce is going, it may be 2 years, right? And the thing is, you might want them to come back too after a few years of being away. And if
True.
don't have that feeling of these systems were meant for me, the learning, the onboarding, the welcoming, it's just not going to matter. They might not come back because they might feel like a number versus a member of your workforce. And hey, let's wake up. It's not just about employees, it's about contractors as well. That's critical. And it really brings me to this topic again, another buzz topic, but it's about the employee experience. And you said something also about just now about, look, we need to rethink about where we make our biggest investments from an HR service delivery perspective, like the process and the technology. And not everything requires the same level of heat and the same level of investment. Can you talk a little bit about the employee experience component of where this fits in from getting rid of the cradle to grave and what HR should care about and think about?
Yeah. So right now, I think employee experience is the main thing that every HR, it's top of the mind. Be it employee experience or learning experience, or everything is about experience. And what happens is many people confuse user experience as learning experience. So they think that, oh, okay, if I just make a better user interface or just make it much more simpler, it's going to be it's going to change employee experience. But employee experience really means people like have to be better productive and better engaged. So when HR is thinking about employee experience, they need to think at that level. And for every organization, the employee experience is different. So the HR needs to kind of define what employee experience means for their organization and for different teams in their that they're catering to, and then select the right tools and technologies to do that. So if you go by if you look in the past, right, I mean, and go to the technology, there could be an analogy like, people were first building systems which were targeted to desktops, and then, okay, when the mobile devices came, they say, oh, now we can also need to build it for mobile devices. So but now the thing is, people say, oh, it's mobile first, desktops later. So that's the trend. So now if you look at organizations are not headquarter only. They are all this remote and all these subsidiaries and everything together. So in a way, they need to think almost like, they cannot think headquarter first and others later. They have to almost think like remote first, and then get into the headquarters and all of that. So it has to connect with everybody, because everybody is playing a crucial role in pushing the organization forward. So I think that's something from an employee experience that I feel organizations need to uh, take into consideration, and HR foremost needs to understand and do that.
Shrikant, that is so interesting. There's something that you said that really triggered a mindset shift.
Mhm.
And that is, we have talked about users, right? Users of systems that we invest in. And what you're saying is, in this new world where people are not cradle to grave, and probably even when they were, we're not talking about users. We're talking about people, right? And understanding where those people work, how they want to work. Do they want to use a device? Do they want to use their laptop? Are they working remotely? What's the kind of jobs that they do? It's taking that person first, not user first. That's huge. That's a
Yeah, it's
massive
tough.
mind shift, right? That's huge. So how do we get them there? Let's end with a call to action from you to our viewers. What's your call to action to get them to start shifting toward where they need to be?
So my calls to action is make sure that from an HR standpoint, you are as tech aware, because you cannot just be dependent on others to drive how HR is on the technology side is going to do the adoption and help the organizations change. Secondly, you need to think about, you cannot think about a whole platform solving your entire HR needs or people needs. So you need a platform, but you also need a lot of solutions that are tailor made to each and every department, and you need to be prepared to handle that and facilitate that so that every department can function in the best possible way to help the organization. And third and most important, I think, it's not only the headquarters, but all the employees, the remote employees, the gig workers, and everybody that the HR needs to think about when it comes to employee experience, and help them not with just better user interface and better tools, but actually see if those are helping them be more productive and be more engaged in their day-to-day work and achieving the goals that they're looking forward to achieve. So those are some of my thoughts.
That is perfect. And that last bullet really brings us full circle to where you began, which is the technology is important, but figure out what you want to do with it, right? Yeah. What is the problem you're trying to solve here? They are called solutions after all.
Yeah.
Shrikant, thank you so much for taking the time to share your experience with us and your insights with us. And thank you everybody for watching. And don't forget to check out our archived episodes on HR.com so that you can stay up to date on all things HR. Have a great day, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to HR.com Live. We have new episodes daily to help you maximize your potential. Be sure to check out our archives on HR.com and share it with your friends. Cheers.